2022 is coming to a close, and just like you, I'm sure I bought some cards as well this year. If you want to see my best pickups from the past year, keep watching with me. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me in my channel Brutus on Baseball once again. For anybody that's been following along, you know that this is a new channel for me. It's only been about 3 months that I've been posting. There's always one type of video that I really enjoy watching other people put out, and that's their top 10 list of the best baseball cards they own, or the most expensive cards that they own, or their biggest pickups of the year, or something like that. And so I wanted to put something out for myself this year along that same vein. I was debating a little bit what kind of content I actually wanted to create, and what I settled on, at least for this time around, was the best pickups that I got in 2022. I didn't make the list based on what cards are the most expensive. Sometimes the ones that I'm happiest to get are just ones that I've been wanting to add to my collection for a very long time, and I was finally able to in 2022. Now, I'm showing pictures of most of these cards because a lot of them are actually not my possession. I do make use of a vaulting system, usually PWCC vaulting in Portland, Oregon. And so I have a lot of my cards sent there, and I know that they'll be safe at the vault, they'll be insured. So I like using the vaulting system, even though if it means right now I don't have them in hand, I'll just have to live with that. I don't have a whole lot of space. What you see is the space that I have in my house currently to be able to show my cards. So maybe one of these days I'll be able to have more space showing off the cards that I do have, but for now I'm pretty happy having them in the vault. And just to give a quick explanation of my collecting habits, I do collect rookie cards of Hall of Fame players, or players that I think will eventually be in the Hall of Fame, or maybe were personal favorites of mine growing up. And a lot of people have preferences for PSA versus BGS versus SGC, or maybe even some of the other grading companies. I don't really have a big preference of one or the other. They all have their own little niche, and I buy them up whenever I can and when it makes sense. I try to pick up cards from all 3 grading companies for each Hall of Fame player. Now, the only caveat to that is I collect all 3 grading companies for 1981 and after. But pre-1981, I only collect 2, PSA and SGC. And that's because Beckett's vintage grading arm is BVG, and they just don't have the same reputation as PSA and SGC does. Most people that have tried to do crossovers, including myself, from BVG cards to PSA or SGC, get 1 to 2, sometimes 3 grades lower in the new grading company. And that's pretty consistently the result that people get. So BVG just doesn't have the reputation. So if it's pre-1981, I collect PSA and SGC of every Hall of Fame player. And if it's post-1981, I collect PSA, BGS, and SGC of those players. I split this video into 3 different parts. The first one's a quick list of cards that didn't make my top 10, but I just wanted to share them real quick because I was really happy that I got them. The second part is my actual top 10, and I'll finish off the video with a handful of cards that I'm looking for 2023, when I'm focused on what I'd like to add to my collection looking into the next year. So take a quick moment, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get to this list right now. First up, I'm going to go through 10 cards that didn't make my top 10, but I just wanted to share my excitement of having picked them up in this year. First up on that list is a 2017 Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor of Alex Bregman in PSA 10. Now, why I'm excited about this card is because I'm a Bregman fan. I like him. I think he's actually got a really great shot at having a very long and good career. And this card is one that I'm happy to add to my list because I love Bowman Chrome and I love these numbered parallels that are really low in pop. The Gold Refractor is out of 50, and PSA has graded a total of 13 of those 50 cards, 10 of which have gotten a PSA 10. The next one that I'm really excited to add is a Jim Edmonds rookie card from 1993. This is one of his Topps issues, but as you can see from the pop report here, there's the Topps Gold, and then in that year they had these inaugural sets of the Marlins and Rockies. And the reason why I'm excited, I was a huge Jim Edmonds fan growing up. I loved to watch his highlights on ESPN every single night, and I think he's a very underrated player for the Hall of Fame. His career was shortened by injuries, but he put some great numbers up, both hitting and defensively. And why I'm excited about this card is it's the only pristine 10 from BGS for all of his 1993 Topps cards. He doesn't have any in the regular issue, the Topps Gold, or the Marlins. He has 1 of the Rockies, and I'm just excited to get it. It's a fun card to have because I was such a big fan of his growing up. Next up on the list is a 1992 Topps Gold Manny Ramirez. This is a card that's eluded me for a long time, and I'm really happy to get the gold version of it. As you can see in the pop report, I think the first line's a mistake. It was a misnumbered card number on there, but there's two different gold versions. One's just the straight gold, and then the other one has a gold winner. The difference is whether you actually pick the card right out of the box, or the winner is a redemption that you sent back in for it, and they sent it to you in the mail. The straight gold that you pulled is usually the one that's a little bit more valuable, but they're both pretty rare. As you can see from the pop report, only 135 PSA 10s of this gold card. Next up is a 1999 Bowman Chrome CC Sabathia rookie card, and again graded BGS 10 Pristine. There's only 8 of these cards graded as pristine by BGS, so pretty hard to come by. I think Sabathia will be getting into the Hall of Fame in the next couple of years, and as you can see taking form, my collection really is rookie cards of Hall of Famers or potential Hall of Fame players. Next one up on my list is adding to my Ichiro Suzuki rookie set. This is the 2001 Upper Deck Reserve, and they're pretty hard to come by. The card is only numbered 2,500 total, and PSA has graded 43 of these at 10. So I was pretty excited to get this card added to my list as well. After the Ichiro card is a 1990 Fleer Update frankthomas. This one's graded Pristine 100 by SGC based on their older scale, and it's equivalent to the gold Pristine 10 of these days. Frankthomas was a monster in the early to mid 1990s when I was a teenager, so really a wonderful card to add to my collection in this grade. The pop report shows that there's only 5 of these graded Pristine by SGC, so pretty exciting to add a good one there. Another player I was really excited to add to my collection this year was Manny Machado. I actually added a couple of these early in the year before his runner-up MVP finish. So as the season progressed, I was really happy that I added these early in the season. The first one's a 2013 base rookie, but BGS 10 black. So perfect card all the way around. Every subgrade is a 10. And there's only 9 of these Manny Machado rookies in the black label BGS card. The other one that I have showing is the 2013 Topps Chrome X-Fractor. So Topps Chrome is his most valuable card by far, and having in the X-Fractor, one of the most popular parallels, especially from that time, is really fun to have. There's a pop of 29 of these. There's actually a lot of pristines of this one, but just a low pop in general, so it's fun to get this one as well. And the last card that I'm just throwing out there real quick before my top 10 is a 2005 Topps Justin Verlander rookie. For whatever reason, I hadn't picked one of these up in a PSA 10 before, so I was really happy to get it early on in the year again. There's a pretty high population of these, creeping up to 1,500 in PSA 10. A little under 50% of these cards that get submitted to PSA are grading 10, so a pretty high population of gem mints, not nearly as high as ultra modern cards, but still for 2005 pretty high. But just a fun one to have of a guy that had a great comeback year and hopefully will continue to pitch and definitely has a Hall of Fame plaque in his future. Now getting into my top 10 specifically. Number 10 on this list is a 1994 SP die cut Alex Rodriguez rookie card. A-Rod may not be very popular with a lot of collectors, but he was still one of the greatest players of all time, one of the best shortstops of all time, whether he used PDs or not. He was just a great player. And in my collection, I mean, I like to focus on guys like A-Rod and Manny Ramirez, but I don't ignore them either. These were great players, and I want to have them as part of my collection for the history of the game that I watched. Now, the die cuts in particular are hard to come by. As you can see from this pop report, there's almost 2,000 of these cards graded 9 by BGS. But if you look at the die cuts, there's only 107. This would be great if it's a PSA 9. It's not. Hopefully I'll build up to that one of these days, but getting a BGS 9 is still really great in my books. Number 9 on my list is a 1987 Fleer Barry Larkin rookie, graded SGC 100 Pristine. It is a gold label based on their old grading scale. For this Barry Larkin, I have a PSA 10, I've got a BGS. Now this year I got the SGC Pristine 100 for this Barry Larkin card. As you can see here, there's only 7 gem mints graded by SGC to begin with and only 2 pristines. So a pretty rare card, a lot of 9s and a lot of 8.5s. There's a huge population of these graded by PSA, so it's not to say that the card is really that rare, but SGC doesn't have a whole lot of them graded. Number 8 on my list is finally picking up a 1993 Topps Derek Jeter in PSA 10. I don't know why this one took me so long. I have most of the other Derek Jeter rookies, but for some reason I just couldn't get my hands on a PSA 10 of his Topps version. Pop report shows that there is a ton of these out there, almost 3,300. But for whatever reason, it took me all the way until 2022, but I finally made it happen, and I can add this one to my Jeter collection. Number 7 on my list is another one that took me a long time to add, and that's the 1982 Topps traded Cal Ripken Jr. graded PSA 9. For a number of years, I was hoping and waiting to get a PSA 10 of one of these cards, but with the rise in vintage the last couple of years, this one in a PSA 10 has gone all the way up between $4,000 to $6,000, depending on which platform you're looking at. But a PSA 9 is still pretty affordable, around $300 to $400. And you can see why from the pop report. There's 6,500 PSA 8s, over 4,000 PSA 9s, but only 404 PSA 10s. So really hard to find in that gem mint condition. I was more than happy to take a 9 on this one. It's a really good looking 9, so I'll take it for sure. The number 6 card that I added to my collection in 2022 is a 1979 rookie card of Ozzie Smith, an SGC92 O-Pee-Chee version of the card. The O-Pee-Chee version, the Canadian version of Topps, is much harder to come by, so I was really excited to add this one to my collection. This pop report shows that there are only 3 8.5s of this card. An 8.5 is what is equivalent to the old 92 from the SGC grading scale. And above that, there's only 2 9s graded. So really hard to come by once again. I was more than happy to add an 8.5 to my Ozzie Smith rookie card collection. The number 5 pickup on my list is actually 2 cards, but they're both Mike Trout rookie cards from 2011. The Bowman Chrome Draft in PSA 10 and the Topps Update in PSA 10. Now the way that I do collecting is I usually don't do a lot of prospecting. I wait until a guy has a couple good years, he's showing well, and then I'll go out and start buying his cards. So I want to make sure that they're actually on something of a Hall of Fame path. The problem with that is Mike Trout, and before him, Albert Pujols. Those are 2 guys that came out of the gate running, and by the time that they had a couple years under the belt and proved that they were really all-stars, they were already so expensive, it was hard for me to get into the game at that point. And so I watched Mike Trout play for years, and I watched his prices go up and soar because of how good he was, and I knew that I just had to wait for the right time to buy in. And to me, that was this year. His injury history has a lot of people that have soured on him. Not that he's not a great player, but they just can't stay on the field. And so by the end of this year, you saw a lot of his rookie card prices start to come down. And that's when I decided to take the opportunity to jump in and at least buy a couple. You could be saying that I should have waited even longer next year, a couple years from now, and the prices are going to be much lower. But I just figured with how good Mike Trout has been in recent years, I didn't want to keep waiting. I wanted to at least buy my first couple of Mike Trout rookie cards, and that's what I did this year. I didn't own any of these before, so now I've got 2 of his best rookie cards in PSA 10, and I'm pretty happy with those pickups for 2022. The number 4 card on my list is a really tough find, so I was super excited to be able to add this one finally. It's a 1981 Topps Traded Tim Raines rookie card graded SGC 10. SGC 98 based on the old scale. From the pop report, you can see right away that there are only 2 of these graded 10, so not easy to come by. I do have the PSA 10, I've got the BGS 9.5, and this finishes off that set of 1981 Topps Traded Tim Raines rookie cards for me in each of the grading companies that I collect, all in gem mint condition. So really excited to be able to just close the book on that one. I am still looking for a couple of Tim Raines cards. I believe his regular Topps issue in SGC, I don't have that one yet, but I'm really getting close in completing my Tim Raines rookie collection in all 3 grading companies across the board. So that's pretty exciting as well. The number 3 card on my list this year was a 1961 Topps Ron Santo graded PSA 8.5. From this pop report, it's a little bit harder on the PSA website to see all the 0.5 scale cards. But if you look at the 8 grades, there's 584 grades, and you look 1 down, the plus sign, there's 31 8.5s. So that's how you read what the population of an 8.5 is. There's 114 9s and 15 10s. I'd love to be able to get a 9 in this card, but it just hasn't happened for a while. And when I saw a good price for an 8.5, I figured I would just jump on it and at least get this one. Now the next 2 on my list, you might be a little bit surprised because they're both junk wax era cards. But they're numbers 1 and 2 on my list because I loved these players growing up. These were 2 of my favorite players, and they're 2 of the hardest cards to find, even though they're junk wax era cards. Number 2 on the list, and I couldn't be happier to complete the Jeff Bagwell rookie card set registry for PSA, is the 1991 studio version in PSA 10. I've had a PSA 9 for a while, but the 10s are impossible to find. I think the last one that sold on record was something like 2019 or early 2020, so it's been a very long time. You can see from the pop report that there's only 19 10s available out there for the junk wax era, that is incredibly difficult to find. There's 105 9s and 228s. So that not only shows you that they're hard to find in PSA, but they're also hard to find in great condition. Coming out of the box, there's just a lot of them that are way off center or have bad corners or that were cut incorrectly. And so to find 10s is really hard. Now the story that I love, and you can actually find this video from one of my very first ones, my PSA bulk submission reveal from probably October, late October of this year, is I actually submitted 4 Jeff Bagwell rookie cards from 1991 studio to PSA for grading way back in February 2021, right before they closed their doors to new submissions. I got those cards back in August of 2022, and it turns out that I got 3 out of the 4 Bagwell cards were graded PSA 10. So the population of 10s prior was 16, and with my 3 new ones, it's now 19. And to be able to get, at least for me, like a grail rookie card of a guy that I grew up absolutely adoring as a fan, one so hard to find, and being able to do that with my own submissions was so satisfying. I can't even explain it in words. And that brings me to my number 1 card on the list for this year. Like I said, another junk wax era card, but it's a really hard one to find again. This is a 1993 Bazooka Todd Helton rookie card, graded BGS 10 pristine. These are hard enough to come by as it is. I think there's only something like 30 that are graded PSA 10, but if you look at BGS cards, there's only 16 9.5s and only 2 pristines of this card. I have no idea what the value of this card actually is, and when I saw it for what I thought was a somewhat reasonable price this year, I figured I would just jump on it, even though it was a little bit of a stretch for me to do so. The recent sales on this have been really low-grade cards. There's been 2 PSA 6s that have gone for about 125 bucks, and I think a BGS 7 that went for about the same. But there haven't been recent sales of 8s or 9s or 9.5s or 10s in the recent years. So it's really hard to actually tell what this card's going to go for, especially considering that Todd Helton's Hall of Fame voting percentages have been jumping every single year that he's been on the ballot. His trajectory this year is looking like it's going to be close to 75%. I'm going to estimate that he's probably going to get around 65 to 70% when it's all said and done, but that means that he is very likely to be voted in either next year or 2 years from now, and so he will be a Hall of Fame player, and this is by far his best card in the best grading condition that you can actually get. So one that I'm excited to add this year for 2022, and I'm going to hold on to for a long time coming. The final section of this video is my goals for 2023, and the theme shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I'm looking for Hall of Fame rookie cards, especially guys that I think will get in the current balloting or in the next few ballots. And if you haven't seen my top 10 Hall of Fame voting videos, go check those out when this one's done too. There's a lot of good information there. These are not in any particular order, they're just ones on top of my head. So number 1 on my list is Adrian Beltre. I have several Adrian Beltre rookie cards in the 3 grading companies, but what I'm missing still is his base Bowman version in PSA 10 and SGC 10, and his Bowman's best version in SGC 10. And I don't have many of the parallels, and I'm always on the lookout for those as well. And next up is scottrolen rookie cards, 1995 Bowman. I don't have the PSA 10 or the SGC 10 once again, and the Bowman's best SGC 10 as well. So very similar what I'm missing for Beltre and Roland actually. The rest of my list is guys that are already Hall of Famers, but I want to start filling in the gaps of ones that I have. I've got a lot of what I need from the 90s and the 80s, but there's still a couple gaps there. Most importantly to me is Kirby Puckett. I'm missing the Fleer BGS 9.5 and the SGC 10, and I'm missing the Topps SGC 10. 1983 Donruss Wade Boggs. I'm missing the SGC 10 still on that one. And then again, 1983 Ryan Sandberg rookie cards. I'm missing the SGC 10 for Donruss, and I'm missing the BGS 9.5 for Topps. And then going back a little bit further, once you get into the 1970s, my collection's a lot more spotty. But I've decided to target a couple ones that are what I feel are low-hanging fruit. I could put on here that I want a 1973 Topps Mike Schmidt and PSA 9, but the chances of me being able to find that and afford it are not very good. So I want to put something out there for 2023 that's a little bit more attainable for me. So what I put on this is 1976 Topps Dennis Eckersley. I don't have any of Eckersley's rookie cards right now. I'd love to be able to find a PSA 9 or an SGC 9 in the coming year. And then after that, a 1975 Topps Jim Rice. I'd love to be able to find the PSA 9 version of that. I do have an SGC 9 in that one, but no PSA yet. And then flip-flop that, the 1972 Topps Carlton Fisk. I've got the PSA 9, but I do not have the SGC 9 version of that yet. So that is my projection, what I'd like to be able to pick up for 2023. Beltre, Roland, Helton, a couple things that I'm missing. Puckett, Boggs, Sandberg, and then going back to the 1970s, Eckersley, Jim Rice, and Carlton Fisk, really hoping to find the ones that I don't have as well. My goal really is to kind of work backwards because that's what's affordable to me. I do like most of my collection to be 10s for 1980 and after, or 9s in the 1970s. I'm going to have to get 8s of George Brett and Mike Schmidt, but that's just the way it is. Once I get back to the 1960s, I'd settle for an 8, no problem. 1950s, 7s, 6s, 5s, definitely down 4, 3, 2, 1 for Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, all those sorts of guys. So I'm doing one step at a time. Right now, I'm trying to fill out my 1970s, and then once I get that a little bit more taken care of, I can start looking a little bit deeper into 60s and 50s. The 80s and early 90s is where I collected, so jumping back into vintage has been a process for me, something that I've dabbled in a little bit at a time. And as I get a little bit older, a little bit wiser, maybe my preferences will start getting geared a little bit more toward vintage because that's where it really holds a lot of value. So that's it for this video. Thanks for joining me to go over my top pickups of 2022, plus what I'd really like to get for 2023. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to be able to hear from you down below. What are some of your best pickups for 2022? What are you really looking for or hoping for 2023? Or what do you even think of my collection and things that I picked up this year? Have a great holiday season. Enjoy the new year. Keep coming back. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in 2023. Keep talking baseball, and take care.